What's up, everyone? Welcome. So, I'm going to talk about the last couple weeks here and what I learned, because it has been a fascinating time. What's up, everyone? What's up, Brett? Met some really great people at GitCon and at AES the other day. I went to the AES convention in New York on Friday for the day, and it was really fascinating. But one of the things I want to talk about about GitCon and hanging out with a bunch of YouTubers for a whole week. That was really, really fascinating. What's up, Pete? There's one of them, Mr. Pete Thorne, on here. Anybody that doesn't know Pete, you all know Pete, I'm sure. But if you don't know Pete Thorne, he is an amazing guitar player, and you should subscribe to his channel immediately, if not sooner. Just go over and click on Pete's YouTube channel, which is so informative. I actually watched Pete's channel long before I started this one. Anytime I wanted to know what a piece of gear sounded like, I'm like, oh, what's Pete got a video on it? And it was really great hanging out with him. Phil X, I don't know if you guys know Phil, but you should know Phil, because he is a fabulous guitar player, singer, and human being, just like Pete. I mean, oh man, these are incredibly exceptional human beings beyond the fact that they're amazing musicians, because that's a tough thing. It's hard to be a great musician and to be a great person. Uh, uh, I appreciate that, Pete. So, but the thing I want to talk about these guys is like what makes these guys great. Adam Neely. I mean, just everybody. If you go and look down the list of the people that were at GitCon, and you talk to them, watch their work ethic, because it's very different to watch someone's channel, and then Pete, if you want to put your channel info in here, just look up Pete Thorne. You type in Pete and it'll come right up. It was really great hanging out, making friends. But to see people's work ethic up close is really is amazing. It really is amazing. It's that's what I wanted to talk about today, was that about people that become successful, especially people that have become successful beyond as players, like Pete, Phil, that have become successful here on the internet as well. There's a tremendous amount of work. When I watch people edit their videos, I was laughing because Adam Neely was working on a video. I said, Adam, I was like, how do you do that text that comes in from the side of the screen, or, oh, thank you, Thomas, appreciate that. What, all these little things. And Adam's like, oh yeah, no problem, I'll show you that. I mean, everybody there was China Mike, who has a guitar channel. He's from England. He's an incredibly great guy. And so he was showing me things about OBS and how that works, and everybody was so willing to share their knowledge and their expertise at this stuff. But you can see the incredible work ethic, because you don't get to do well here without putting an incredible amount of time in. There you go, music for the soul. Just subscribe to Pete. Everybody subscribe to Pete that's on here. And Adam, his work ethic for his videos, we were talking about some of the videos he has coming up. And I have a video that I did with Adam as well that I'm going to put out that I have to finish editing. And it's inspiring to see that because I was talking when I was at AES this weekend. One of my Aaron is actually putting up an offer today for the Beato book and the Advanced Harmonic Concept course for people on this live stream. $30 off if you buy the two. It's a bundle that he just put together on there. It's in the link is in the description. So I met a guy named Al at AES this week, and Al plays guitar in a Broadway show, Cyndi Lauper's Broadway show. And he wrote to me and he said he was going to be at AES and wanted to meet. And so we met up and we were talking about stuff. And he came by. I did a live stream from this bar there that some people showed up to. But, he sees me doing my live stream and I'm just talking to my phone like this, right? And I said, yeah, that's what I do. He said, to him, seeing just to talk to a phone and read comments and be animated. You're always spending time alone when you make these videos. And, I was talking to Pete about how he does, when he's doing his demo videos or when he did his Chris Cornell tribute, which was amazing. After Chris passed away, Pete played with Chris for I don't know, 5 years or so and did the most moving, incredibly moving tribute to Chris after he passed away. And I was really happy that it came up into my feed because I was incredibly saddened by that. Being a huge, you guys know that I'm a huge Soundgarden and Chris Cornell fan, and we talked about that, and people that make YouTube videos live it's a very lonely existence in that you're. If you don't have anyone to bounce things off of, it's tough. It's really, really, really tough. And you spend a lot of time alone editing, especially when you make, I'm making 5 videos a week. And, but there's no pity for that. It's incredibly enjoyable. But the ability to go, or the generous thing that we were able to go over to Germany there and spend a week. And Pete's last name is Thorne, Pete Thorne. Subscribe to his channel. What's up, Deb? So it was really, really great to hang with these people. But man, the work is everybody does it very similarly. It's just they grind it out. And it's a daily thing. People are thinking ahead to what they've got going on. You got to practice all the time. We had jam sessions at night. I didn't contribute in any of the jam sessions. I was always, I was actually going back to my hotel some of the nights and working on videos. I did a couple live streams. I made a couple videos there. Just because that's kind of what I do. But and then this AES trip that I made was really fascinating because you see that there's an impact that I don't realize it because I never go out and meet people, but going there and people would come up to me and say, "Oh man, I love your channel." I met a guy from SSL and he was incredibly generous with his really appreciated. Told me how much he appreciated what I do, and his name's Don, and he's a VP at SSL, and he's friends with Peter Frampton. We were talking about the Peter Frampton episode that I did, and I was telling him about how much I loved Peter Frampton. I loved his playing. It's unbelievable, and that's one of the few guitar players that's around that I'd really like to meet. There's so few nowadays. So anyways, we talked about that. It was incredibly exciting. And I saw Chris Lord-Alge and Tom Lord-Alge. It's interesting because I talked to Tom And I'd never spoken to him in person before. He had mixed, I told him that he mixed a couple songs for me years ago. And I was trying to remember what it was, and I couldn't remember at the time because he said, "What was it?" And I said, "I don't know. It was back in 2000." And I remembered later it was Flicker Stick. I did a couple of songs with Flicker Stick on their record. One of them was a song called "Smile" that they had won this this Bands on the Run show that was on VH1. And the record, unfortunately, came out on September 11th. I did remember that after. But anyway, so Tom Lord LG mixed the record, and I told him that of everything that I had mixed, every balance, the guitars, the drums, everything, all I remembered when I got the mix back from him was that, if I had any comments, I said, no, I don't have any comments. And I told him that, Pete, you're friends with Peter? Oh my God, I want to meet him. So I worship Peter Frampton. I can't believe he knows Peter Frampton. That's one person I want to really interview. I really want to interview Peter Frampton. That would be a massive, massive thing. So I told Tom Lord LG that I said, you got all the balances of everything perfect. And he said, you sure it wasn't my brother Chris? And I said, he goes, you must be talking about Chris. I said, no, you specifically. I've had stuff mixed by Chris as well. And it's funny because Chris came up to me and he's like, Rick Beato. And I mean, I've had things mixed by him. I talked to him on the phone years ago, because the budgets for records that those guys, when they would mix major label records on, the labels didn't want to spend that stuff. They didn't want to spend the money to do that later on. They would take, nowadays it's like, for certain projects they will spend the money, but not very many. So it was really fascinating. But Peter Frampton, fanboy? No, Peter Frampton, come on, he's one of the greatest guitarists ever. And the solos on Do You Feel on the Frampton Comes Alive record are just absolutely outstanding. Anybody that's been watching my channel for more than a year knows my what I think about Frampton. I actually have this Art of Soloing. I've done 2 episodes on it, and the first one was on Peter Frampton. And it wasn't a what makes this song great, because it was specifically about his solos on a number of tunes. There are so many great solos. I picked out, I believe, Lines on My Face. I took one of the solos from Do You Feel Like We Do, but it's on that. Do You Feel Like We Do has about 6 guitar solos just on that one song that are all phenomenal. Lines on My Face has at least 5 solos on it that are all phenomenal. And it was really the high point of his playing. Modal playing, just unbelievable melodies. So he would go between, I think that Frampton was the best at going between blues playing and modal playing. If you listen to any of the times that the songs would change keys, for example, Do You Feel Like We Do has a key change in it. It starts D in the end solo section, D, and then C, F, back to D. And the F major to D major, you have the F natural moving to F sharp in that. So that's a key change there. And every time he's playing it, that he's always outlining the changes just like a bebop player. And it's really fascinating. Anything I've ever read about him, this is why I want to interview him. I want to talk to you about his dad's influence, because it seemed like from the few things I've read that his dad was similar to my dad in his love of jazz. And I think that Peter's dad was a guitar player. I'm not sure about that. I'm sure some of you know that. But, if you take the... some of the solos, like on Lines on My Face, I'm trying to think now if I can, I'll probably botch this, but, here's my new Kiesel guitar that they just sent me. That's really a killer guitar. So let's see. I got to think of it here. Hold on. Okay, I have to listen to a second of it here. I got to get it in my brain here. Hold on. Okay, I'm remembering that. Hold on. I'm going to play it. I'm going to get my stream demonetized. No, that's okay. Let's see here. Hopefully it won't get taken off. Frampton. If you guys even know this tune, Lines on My Face, you should know this. It's Off Frampton Comes Alive. And it has about, it's probably the best example I can think of modal, of interspersing modes and, let's see here. Oh, yeah, hold on.
I saw where you came.
Oh, yeah. Dun, dun. No answer. Let's see. Where's the song? So right there. So he goes. When he goes to that D major, so he's on A minor. So he's using A Dorian, right? But he ends his phrase and he goes right to that third of the D major chord. And then he every time he's always resolving to those chord tones. There's another solo later on that let's see here.
Only wake me up your feet. Got a toast.
Yeah. So when he goes to the G minor here. And then we're here. Unbelievable. Just incredible solos on here. And to think that these are all live, and you know how I know that they're live? Because demonetized mode enabled, exactly. I know that these are live because I have some of the tracks and they're definitely live. Like on Do You Feel Like We Do? You can hear the organ or the Rhodes bleeding into the guitar mics. You can hear the hold on one second. I got to get rid of somebody here. There we go. You can hear all the bleed between the microphones. It's totally done live. And I know that, you'd heard things, oh, well, maybe it's not live. Because if you listen to the the Kiss records, and routinely people in the 70s when they do live records would go back in the studio and would go, would touch up the records or completely redo them or put in crowd sounds and they'd be totally, studio records with crowd sounds in them. But that was definitely done live. Do You Feel Like We Do? I mean, it's really unbelievable that how well he's playing on there. So Frampton, all those songs on there. I'll Give You Money. Oh my God, killer solo. Doobie Wah, Something's Happening. I think I talked about Something's Happening. That solo, he's totally hits all the changes on there. It starts out. Let's see. Yeah. So it's like. So he starts on the A major. And it goes to E over G sharp. Then it goes to that D sharp there on the B major chord. He goes right to the D sharp on the downbeat, just like a bebop player would. It's everything, every solo on that tune is exactly like a jazz player would play, but yet it's rock. So when I heard that, and my dad was always playing jazz, and I wasn't necessarily into jazz at the time. And then I heard Frampton Comes Alive, and then it clicked. I started hearing that, and I said, wait a minute, that sounds like jazz. I heard Kinda Blue. I was listening to Kinda Blue, listening to So What, and I heard them playing over a Dorian scale, D Dorian. And I started listening to that, and I thought to myself, wow, that sounds kind of like, that's Peter Frampton. That sounds like what he's playing. And they would be using the blues scale in addition to the Dorian scale. They'd be adding blues notes in there. And I thought to myself, man, Peter Frampton's playing jazz. That's kind of what struck me. I just I just had this epiphany. Wait a minute, you can play jazz and rock? And then I started to stumble on other things, and I heard the UK record with Holdsworth, and I'd heard Holdsworth play on Jean-Luc Ponty, and I started discovering things like that, with rock players that played jazz licks in it, and I thought that, and then there was, and then a couple years later, I heard on a Gino Vanelli record on Brother to Brother, there's Carlos Rios played some killer guitar solos on there, where he's playing all these kind of altered lines, but with a really distorted tone. I want to say it's on the tune Brother to Brother. I can't remember. Let's see. He plays licks just like that. He plays a lick just like that, and I thought, what is that? And he's playing over an F sharp, altered chord. So I started once I heard that, I said, wow, that sounds like jazz too. That sounds like what Joe Pass plays. So I started to say, then I got into, wow, what is that chromaticism they're using? Because he uses it at the beginning of the lick. That. And Frampton would use those. Frampton would also use those chromatic things, like on Do You Feel Like We Do? The first solo. Then he goes, then right there. But right, all those kind of lines, that is a perfect example of using Dorian and chromaticism like you would use in jazz. So right there you have the blues thing, then you have the Dorian thing, then you have back to blues. And then you hear people like Lukather. Same key. In Rosanna, same thing, where he's incorporating these notes out of jazz and using them. He's using them in a rock context. I'm trying to think of how that solo starts. It's kind of weird with that all that, just those couple. That kind of stuff, only jazz players. And then Larry Carlton, when I heard him playing on Kid Charlemagne, same thing. Right there. Let's see. And use that over a B flat 7. Right, there's that sound. Anyhow, so all those things together were what made me want to start getting into jazz. Was hearing all these kind of things that were disconnected because rock players were using a lot of jazz elements in their playing in the 70s. They just were, you know, Frampton, Holdsworth, Carlton, Lukather, all those guys. Okay, what are the specs on my guitar here? So it has 2 humbuckers on it. I'm like the worst person to ask this. Okay, I think it's got a 16-inch radius neck. It has a rosewood fingerboard. It's got some. It's got the Kiesel locking tuners on them, which are really great. It's got a very thin profile neck, which I like. The body, you know, it's a double cutaway with this, you know, curved, this kind of carved top looking thing. I don't know what you would call that though. You can see the profile of it there. I love it. The pickups have that kind of not matte finish. What would you call that? China Guitar Skeptic, what's up? My man. Yeah, this is, what do they call that? The type of brushed nickel, I think, maybe? Something like that. And this is beveled. Yeah, I guess this is beveled. These, I just love it. It's very, very well made. These are totally gunmetal. Yeah, this is a totally brushed. Thank you, Ken. I really, really am digging it. I just got it yesterday. I gotta play it some more. It's so. I'm really, really digging it though. I had a choice of getting a 16-inch radius or a. There's my China Guitar Skeptic. What's up, man? You guys should subscribe to his channel too. That's my boy Mike. We had a great time hanging out in at GitCon. Okay, so Holdsworth played a Carvin and then Kiesel. So when I don't have any distortion hooked up. I'm sorry. I'm just when I got this guitar, when I saw Kiesel at Summer NAMM, the guy said, whoa, come over here and I want you to check out the stuff, because my friend Daryl Gable plays Kiesel guitars, and Daryl's like, oh, you got to check out Kiesel. So I went and talked to Brandon, that's one of the guys there, and Mike, we had a great time. China Guitar Skeptic, subscribe to his channel too. He was giving me lessons on how to do live streaming properly, even though I actually need to take some more lessons on how to hook stuff up. So I go by Kiesel and I say, hey, can I try the Alan Holdsworth guitar? And he said, sure. And so I picked it up, and it was really weird. It was, the neck was like a baseball bat, and I couldn't believe it. It was way, okay, so this is, I would say this is probably an average, this is a thin neck, okay, compared to, some 50s Les Pauls or something, okay? This is more like a 60s Les Paul neck, really thin. If I showed you my 56 reissue here, this neck is, I would say, is more similar to the Holdsworth Kiesel guitar, and he has a 20 radius. I don't know if you can really tell this at all, but this guitar has a very, very fat neck on it. This is a great guitar. It plays great. I really, really like this guitar. It's got a much, much fatter neck than the Kiesel does. If you see this, let's see if I can turn it to the side there when I'm playing it, and you can see it's kind of, but you can probably see that this is much thinner. This is way, way, way thinner of a neck. I prefer this, even though I like the way that the Gibson plays too. But to me, this is just more comfortable. It's easier to get. It's a little bit easier to get around on it, I think. But the thing with the P90s, killer. Hold them side by side. That's a good idea. Hold on, let me do that. Oh, man. I'm not sure if you can tell when they're side by side, but let's see here. Hold on here. You can definitely tell that the Les Paul is thicker. You can definitely tell. I would say it's a 1/4 of an inch thicker. So I'm very, very psyched about this. The other thing about this is that it's very smooth for playing wide intervals. There's no weird buzzing. And there's, I don't know, I know it's hard to tell, but it's really, there's no buzzes, nothing weird about it at all. And this is a very, very fast guitar. I also noticed for sweep picking that it's really good. There seems to be a lot of resistance for sweep picking. It seems to be easier to sweep pick on this than it does on some of my other guitars. I don't know if it's the string spacing. sure, but I think the string spacing, it just feels like there's a little bit more resistance against this. If I had to say, when I'm going across the strings, and it's probably just the way the bridge is. It's probably just the way the bridge reacts to the string tension or something. So Holdsworth's guitar, though, is a 20-inch radius, and it's very, very flat. It's almost like a classical guitar, okay? But it wasn't. I think that he was basing it on an old SG. Was kind of the was his. I think he wanted them to feel like an old SG. John, yes, string tension. It seems like there's a lot of string tension down for when I was doing that sweeping. And like I said, I only played the guitar for the first time last night. And it's yeah. So Holdsworth. But my guitar is not. My guitar is a 16 radius. But if you compare it to my gold top back there, which is a I'm not sure what, honestly, do you guys know what a Les Paul radius would be? A 56 Les Paul radius would be from this era? I mean, this is a very, very good playing guitar. I'm not sure what the radius is, but it's got a what I call a baseball bat neck, and that's what Holdsworth's guitar felt like. But he had huge hands, so no problem. His Steinberger, I had played that model Steinberger as well. I think that the Kiesel was something similar to his Steinberger. Okay, so that Les Paul's a 12 radius. Okay, so 16 radius. I like the radius that my Dan Electro has, which I think is a 16 or 18. I like those radiuses. When it gets too flat, I think, you can do things. There's a lot of hammer licks that you can do, a lot of legato lines that you can do that you can do with a flatter radius, because you basically can tap the string with the left hand and it'll produce a note with enough speed on the frets. So, anyways, so there's my that's the deal with my new Kiesel. By the way, there's a sale Beato book bundle with my advanced harmonic series. It's 30 something bucks off if you buy the two together. What is the Beato book? This is the Beato book. It only comes in PDF, but I printed this here. It's a music theory and improvisation book that teaches you everything that you need to know about from the most basic music theory of how to name an interval to chord progressions to that getting it in the back of the book. It gets incredibly complex. And basically anything that you need to know is in here. You can practice it for 30 years. It's 461 pages. And there's a discount code for just the book. I'll tell you what it is here. Aaron probably knows what just the book is. I think we made a discount code for the book for today. For the next 24 hours here. What is it? It is RB 314. That's what it is. So if those of you want to just buy the book, it's 20% off RB 314 right there. Please do What Makes the Sun Great on Radiohead Just. I don't have the tracks of Just, but I was playing it yesterday, as a matter of fact, right? And about my nail is getting stuck on the strings there. That's hilarious. What's great about that is that lick that they play is a diminished scale. It's a whole half diminished scale that plays over that progression. Because if you think about it, what they're doing is actually playing a diminished scale, the triads that would come out of the diminished scale, or some of them. But the verse is cool. So he's like, do it to yourself. Love that. That is a great, that is one of my favorite Radiohead songs. Somebody asked me yesterday what my favorite Radiohead songs, and I played, no. That is definitely one of them. Doing the, what is that song? Let Down. That and I love High and Dry. Like what is it? Love that. High and Dry, Fake Plastic Trees, Everything in Its Right Place. All those songs are all amazing. All incredibly great songs. All right, Kid A record, phenomenal. You heard the record that Johnny and Tom were competing to add as many chords to a song as possible? Yeah, well, they added a plenty of them there in that. David, you want a Beato signature guitar? Well, there's not. When someone makes one, I'll let you know. Yeah, and sorry about, speaking of copyright restrictions, sorry about all the takedowns of my videos. My Spirit video, Spirit versus Stairway to Heaven, got taken down by Spirit, their estate. The Led Zeppelin, A Whole Lot of Love got taken down. My Bach video got taken down, but I put it back up. Apparently somebody owns all of, a German company bought all of Glenn Gould's videos. Tom, write to Aaron there about that. I don't really take Western Union. I don't even know how to do that. Beato Banjo. Okay, so all right, so that's good. So I'm good for today. We talked about a lot of stuff. You guys are the best. Beato book, a code for today, 20% off. RB914. China Mike, I want to talk. You should Skype me after or email me. I want to chat with you when we're done here. Is it easy to work with Aaron? What do you mean? Of course it's easy to work with Aaron. Aaron's the best. And then we have Aaron's been putting in here. Thanks, Frank. Aaron's been putting in the bundle there for the Advanced Harmonic Concepts and Beato book, which is a great deal on that. Remember, that's the only way I make money on my channel, because all my videos that get views are demonetized. You guys are the best. Thank you.